Hey everybody, it's Stephanie here. Getting healthy with Stephanie the Food Addict. Well, I don't know how healthy I'm getting, but I am trying, guys. I am not giving up, and that's what is most important. I am powering through. I'm making myself accountable every day. I'm definitely more active than I have been probably in my entire adult life. I am riding bikes almost 7 days a week, if not 7 days a week. Some weeks we went all week. Some days we've missed one day, but that's about it. We only miss one day, if we miss any, the whole week, and we've been doing that since April 21st. And we started walking on the 20th, and then we got the bikes and started riding the bikes on the 21st, and been riding almost every day since, except for a few days. Anyway, I am in my kitchen right now. I am cooking. I am making some squash and onions, green beans, bow tie pasta noodles, and this is some of the lemon sauce that my girlfriend Victoria made for us on our anniversary. Y'all, how wonderful. My best friend that I've had since I was 13 years old, she came over to my house, drove all the way from Jacksonville, which is over a 2-hour drive for her, right at, a little over. And she came over on a Saturday. She cooked for us. Not only did she cook for us, but she went and bought everything, brought it over, cooked it, didn't use anything of mine, and then stayed the night with us. Her husband then drove over later. He had to work that day. Then he made a separate trip all by himself to come and stayed the night, and they have their 2 kids, and they stayed the night. They're my kids' ages, a boy and a girl, same gender, same age. Anyway, and she's just always been that steady in my life. Like, if there's somebody that I can count on, a friend I can count on, it's her. And I'm really grateful to have her in my life, and I have a few other friends that if I was to call them and need them, they would be there for me too. And it's a really huge blessing, and I'm really grateful to have the friends that I have. And I struggle with being close to people. I really do. I'm very distant. I'm very close to my kids. I'm very close to my husband, but I have I'm not sure if it's childhood trauma or if it's just my introverted personality. I like to say I'm an ambivert. That's somebody that gets drained from being around people, so they get the same charge being alone that an introvert gets, and they get the life sucked out of them being around people, where extroverts get energy being around people. That's how they recharge. Introverts recharge by being alone. And so they suck me out, so I got the introvert part, but I've also got the extrovert too, because I love being around people. But the trouble is that I only like doing it for short amounts of time, because it's exhausting. And it's nothing personal against anybody. It's just the way that I'm made, I guess. But I'm trying, though, to, I guess, make an active choice in my life to be more involved with people, and I guess be less selfish, think about other people more than I think about, I'm probably still going to think about myself more and my immediate family and what I have to do, because, it's just so busy when you got 3 people that depend on you, plus yourself, so 4 people that depend on you every day. And it's a huge blessing. I remember, what it was like to just be very lonely. And that was a time of my life when my best friend had died in 2013 in December. And she overdosed. And then the very following year, I ended up having to have emergency surgery because I was really sick. I had this mass in my chest. It was called a mediastinal foregut cyst. And it had ruptured, and it was infected, and the doctors think that it was congenital, and they were able to, and it was not cancerous, praise God, which at the time we did not know. We had to wait for pathology, so it took about 2 weeks after the surgery to get the pathology report back. So I was very I had this peace. Like, I just knew everything was going to be okay because that's just how God works, right? That peace comes from Him. But of course, there was this, I guess, deep down knowing that it could come back as cancer. But I was confident everything was going to be okay, and it wasn't cancer. I'm just so grateful for that. So they were able to go in emergency, take it out, and get me all fixed up. They did a VATS procedure. It's called a video-assisted thoracic surgery. I did have to sign a waiver stating they might have to go through my chest and do an open thoracotomy, which is the same type of surgery that when they cut you open to do open heart surgery for a coronary artery bypass graft, like CABG. It's the same type of procedure, but of course it would be, them operating on my heart. But thank God they didn't have to open me up, and they were able to do the video-assisted thoracic surgery. So they were able to take with these 3 robotic hands through my back, and they were able to cut through and go through there and get it out. I guess you run a little bit of higher risk of nerve damage, and you sign waivers for all that too. But it's a lot less invasive, I would say, even though it's still very invasive, because they still got to go in that cavity and cut it out, and it was attached to my esophagus. It grew on the outside of my esophagus, and like I said, the doctor thinks that it was congenital, and he doesn't think that it'll grow back, but there's always a possibility. He was able to get 99% of it because he wasn't able to get it completely off of the outside of the esophagus and the chest cavity because he was afraid he was going to put a hole in my esophagus if he got all of it off. And we didn't want to damage the esophagus because that's my food tube, and God knows that would be miserable to be alive without my food tube. So he spared me there, and I'm grateful. So hopefully it won't grow back. He said if it does, that was when I was 28 years old. It'll probably take another 28 years to grow back. So yeah, I'm so grateful about that. And he said it was a goblet cell, most likely, which is what makes up your esophagus, and it most likely just like didn't form in the esophagus, and then it started to grow on the outside. So everything doesn't work 100% correctly when it comes to DNA and genetics and cells dividing and all that. And my mother was a cigarette smoker when she was pregnant with me, so that wasn't the best thing either. But anyway, but I don't know how I got on that. I just think that's a really cool story. I survived that, and I was in pain for 4 days with it, and I just got to say that this was a moment where God showed up in my life. So I woke up that Friday morning. I actually went to sleep Thursday night, and I was having some pain like on one side of my neck behind my ear. I'm like, maybe I'm getting an ear infection. Then I woke up the next morning, and it was on both sides of my ears and my neck area. And then my neck kind of started getting hard to turn, and it started to hurt down in here too. And then it started to go down into my shoulder blades on both sides, and I was having pain on my shoulder blades. And so I went to work that Friday, and I told my boss who sat next to me, like, hey, if I kill over or something, I've been having this weird pain, and then my chest started hurting. I've been having this weird pain all day. But I was 28, so I was in denial that I was having a heart attack or anything like that. I'm like, I'm just going to finish the work day, and then if something happens, call an ambulance, but I'm going to finish this work day. And of course she told me to leave, but I didn't. I stayed until 5, went to an urgent care. They did a chest x-ray, and they did a EKG. EKG came back good, but they saw a silhouette of something on the chest x-ray. So they sent me over to the emergency room, and that's where they did a CAT scan, and they found that there was something. So then they sent me home. They kept me for the night. Dilaudid didn't help the pain, which is like cream of the crop. That's good stuff, other than fentanyl. It didn't help the pain at all, and I was like, oh my God, something's seriously wrong. And so they ended up sending me home. They told me to go see Dr. Herrera, Luis Herrera, on Monday to call and make an appointment to see him, that he would see me. He was the head cardiac thoracic surgeon at Orlando Health, and he had a 3-month wait. I called there on Monday morning, and the office said, oh, you have to, we can't schedule you for 3 months out. And which is terrible, because people that are waiting on cancer treatment, my God, you don't have 3 months. So some people don't have that kind of time, and if they were able to get in right away, maybe they would be able to live. But because they have to wait for so long, thank God it wasn't cancer. But for all the other poor souls that do have it, God bless them. And so I feel bad that I got to skip all of them. But he wanted to do this surgery on me because he was excited about the technology. He did say that. I mean, he didn't say that's why I jumped everybody, but I had a pretty good idea. I'll be right back. Part 2 is coming up.